All right, everybody. What is going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mi Casa es Su Casa, and I'm your humble host, Niko House. Before we get started really fast, I wanted to let everybody know that we have a very, very, very huge announcement, but can't make that announcement until we hit 50,000 subscribers. So make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you can get the notifications for the channel. And then once we hit 50,000 subscribers, we got some pretty huge news. So if you have not, make sure to do so. With that being said, everybody at this point, at least you should be, because it's been all over the news, it's been trending on Twitter, is familiar with the quote unquote attempted military coup that Juan Guaido is calling Operación Libertad, except for it's the total opposite. I mean, literally, so it's Operation Liberty. Obviously, if you didn't know, it seems pretty, obvious, inherent in the. Oh Lord Jesus! I almost knocked my coffee off my desk. It's pretty inherent in the translation, but. Basically, it's called Operation Liberty, and Juan Guaido's idea of liberty is bringing an imperialist nation and all of its corporations into its country to help him take it over. Not really sure what is liberty in that particular scenario, but hey, it's Guaido's story. I'll let him tell it. But of course, as expected, the United States and all of the mainstream has not been shy about showing where their support lies. John Bolton has come out in full force and said that Trump said all options are on the table, and I'll be damned, because I have a lot of friends in the military, being a veteran myself and being partially raised in a veteran town, Fort Bragg and Fayetteville. They don't want to go to Venezuela, and they're not going to go to Venezuela. They got no beef with no Venezuelans. You have not convinced them. I mean, remember for a second there, they thought that if they tried to use the same tactics, because our intelligence community is lazy and so is our government, and they're totally and completely unoriginal, they thought they could use the same tactic that they used to motivate people to go overseas before. Because whenever the whole Maduro's a dictator thing failed, whenever the whole the people want Maduro out failed, they were like, they look left, they look right, they said fuck it, and said Hezbollah is now in Venezuela working for Russia. What? Okay, that's at that point I really legitimately had a good old belly laugh, one of those Princeton Ivy League chuckles, or the Hardys. Okay. These guys are ridiculous, because it's like they're not even trying anymore, and they're legitimately still not trying anymore. So what I want to do is read to you this article from The Guardian, and then I'm going to read to you an article reported from Mint Press by someone on the ground. And I want to hear if you spot, or I want to see if you spot the differences. So this is the article from The Guardian. Guaido's supporters take to Venezuela's streets in new bid to oust Maduro. First of all, before I go into the article, I don't trust Guaido. So on this Guardian article, so for those of you who are curious, by the way, the reason I don't post articles from the mainstream that I read from is because I don't want to give them free promotion. The more that, so if there's a video that's popular, this is a side note, there's a video that's popular and it gets shared a lot on YouTube, that's called backlinking. So if the video gets shared a lot on YouTube and the article is linked in the description, it makes it look as if the article is popular. The mainstream gets more money, it gets more traction. People believe that the information in it is more legitimate. So oftentimes you'll see me share independent, trustworthy news sources, but when I read off of the mainstream news sources, I won't link it, and that's why I don't want to give them free promotion on my videos. So Guaido did a video announcing to the world, hey, everybody, I got this super secret plan to start a military coup today. wish us luck. Because everybody knows that the most successful coups in history all started with a huge announcement on YouTube. But even more importantly, and more disgusting, how the hell's Guaido gonna convince us that he deserves to be president of Venezuela when you out here shooting a video announcing the military coup in portrait mode? Boy, if you don't flip that camera around, start using landscape, I can't trust you if you don't know how to shoot in landscape and you trying to take over the government. You're using damn portrait full screen. This is the era of 4K and 1080p. 1920 by 1080p, and you out here shooting in full screen. You want to be president of Venezuela. Ain't that some shit? Let me continue. Also, in the in the video, he trying to convince us, hey, everybody in the military supports me, just in case you know. Look at how many people we have. And he got like 5 or 6 soldiers in the picture. He refuses to pan around to show how many people supposedly support him. He's convincing us that he's about to start a military coup. This man is in the goddamn white button-up in a blazer. Talking about we bout this. We're about to start a military coup right after I get done with tea time. Like, come on. But yeah, shooting in portrait mode, talking about a military coup in a damn white button-up and some blazers, got a fresh haircut, just shaved. Boy, oh, Lord, baby Jesus, man. Somebody help out Guaido. He don't know how to do this correctly. Man... He wonder why people don't follow him. Fidel Castro had 800. He had 800 medals and medallions on. Maduro be walking around with medals and medallions on. Gaddafi walk around with medals and medallion on. Guaido talk about I got all the military on my side. We about to take over the world in a white button up and a blazer. Shooting in portrait mode. Help your boy out, Bolton. Help your boy out. So anyway, the article says Venezuela's political crisis has lurched into a potentially historic and violent new phase as an attempted military uprising erupted at the heart of its capital, Caracas. And the opposition leader, Juan Guaido, urged supporters to take to the streets to force a rival Nicolas Maduro from power. And all 4 of them RSVP'd on Facebook, maybe. A day of high drama and profound uncertainty began shortly before dawn on Tuesday when Guaido, who has been spearheading a 3-month campaign to topple Maduro unsuccessfully, posted an online video in which he appeared surrounded by dozens of armed troops near a key military installation. That is silly. I'm telling y'all, I'm looking at the video right now. There is 5 troops. Boy, you ain't even at a half dozen. And they talking about dozens. They ain't no dozens. You can't have dozens of supporters when you trying to shoot a military coup from YouTube in full screen portrait mode. Sorry, y'all. I'm really tripping off this. Y'all know I'm a YouTuber. This thing is bothering me with this full screen portrait mode. That's how we know you lying, because you can't even shoot in widescreen, because it'll expose your ass. All right, let me continue, bro. Oh man. So it says he said in the video, the time is now. Outside of La Carlota Air Base, we are going to achieve freedom and democracy in Venezuela, he added, urging supporters to take to the streets. And like I said, all 4 of his supporters RSVP'd on Facebook and said, maybe. It has been unreported that they actually showed up. It was unclear how many soldiers had joined Guaido's cause, but hundreds of civilian supporters gathered at the airbase where troops loyal to Maduro fired tear gas rounds into the crowd, supposedly, and it prompted a brief exchange of fire, supposedly, of gunfire. I haven't seen that. There was no video of that, and I'm gonna look for it too, but I haven't seen that. Later, television images, well, if the TV said it's true and they put images up, on TV, then who are we to question it? But let's see what we can find. The images showed clashes between government troops and protesters as a National Guard armored car drove into a crowd, leaving several people apparently injured. Other footage showed National Guardsmen chasing away demonstrators on a nearby highway. The head of a medical center near the site of the street battles told Associated Press that doctors were treating 50 people, about half of whom had injuries from rubber bullets. Maduro made no public appearance, but said that he had spoken with military commanders who had shown him total loyalty. And he tweeted, "Nerves of steel, I call for maximum popular mobilization to assure victory of peace, and we will win." Senior officials took to the airways to insist the uprising will fail. So that was the spin story from The Guardian. All right. So let's see what Mint Press News has to say. I got to give a huge shout out to Nick Raywald with some excellent reporting here. Oh, Lord Jesus. Sorry, I'm still tripping off of Juan Guaido out here shooting. Because this is the video, they use it on this link too, and the full screen. It's really, really bugging me. He want to be leader of an opposition in Venezuela. Boy cannot shoot in widescreen. Okay. And this is, so see if you spot the differences in reporting. In an act described by the Venezuelan government as a small coup attempt by the self-declared president of Venezuela, Juan Guaido, appeared in a video alongside uninformed men who he claimed were a number of military defectors, declaring that this is the final phase of Nicolas Maduro's presidency. But I thought he was already president. That's what he said, right? That's what I thought. Guaido seems to be a little bit confused. He don't know if he's the president, the interim president. He don't know if he should come in a military, what I was gonna call him. Oh my God, I don't forgot what our uniforms are called. We're called in the military. ACUs. Good God, they don't call them ACUs anymore though. I think they're called BDUs now, or those are old ones. But basically, he don't know if he should show up in a military uniform. He don't know if he should come in a white button-up in a blazer. He don't know if he should get a haircut, if he should speak English because he's actually American. He was just born in Venezuela. If he should speak Spanish, if he should shoot in full screen, if he should shoot in widescreen. He don't know. I don't think that Guaido is quite ready to take over the country. He said he calls it Operación Libertad, but he don't know if he want to be freed by liberty or taken over by the U.S. imperialist military-industrial complex. He seems a little bit all over the place and disoriented. I'm not quite sure this is the guy Venezuela wants as president. Anyway. The Venezuelan military generals and the vast majority of the military have pledged their loyalty to Maduro. That's interesting because now, call me crazy, but how are you going to say that there is a military coup when all the generals who are in charge of the military are all saying they don't like you and we're going to stay with the guy who's currently in charge? Because I thought in order to have a military coup, you got to have a military. But I just feel like to have a military coup, you gotta have at least one. Can you get one general to say you're right? Can you get one general to say, Guaido's okay? We'll help him, I guess. Can you get at least one? Just one. He got 0 generals. He don't really have any of the military. In my opinion, that's just a paramilitary who dressed up. They're like, in my opinion, I don't know if this is a fact, but it's pure speculation. I have no problem admitting that. But given what I know how the U.S. operates, and we hire private defense contractors to go into countries and pretend to be opposition leaders, right? So, or not opposition leaders, but to pretend to be opposition troops. But I would say that if you don't have any of the generals on your side, if most of the military isn't on your side, and you're calling for civilians to come into the streets, why you need civilians to come into the streets if you're conducting a military coup? That's not how that shit works. If you got the whole military on side, you pump up your chest, you take off that white button up in that blazer, you throw on a tank top, you grab yourself a Gatling gun, and you walk up on Capitol Hill with all the generals behind you. You don't wake up at 5:45 in the morning, everybody's still asleep. It's the butt crack of dawn. People out here getting ready to go to work. They out here showering, about to go to their 9 to 5. And you talking about hey, everybody, we're starting a military coup, but can you stop wiping your baby's ass and taking your dog out to use the bathroom to come help us with the military coup that no military is a part of? Oh my God. This boy does not know what he is doing. I'm just saying. It's apparent. He has no idea what he's talking about. And bruh, I'm sorry. But you're going to take the YouTube to announce it to the world. I bet all the generals were looking at YouTube when he posted that video and said, I know this motherfucker did not just announce a military coup on YouTube. I know that's not what just happened. This got to be the dumbest. Even if I didn't like Maduro, why would I work for a motherfucker who announces a military coup on YouTube before the coup has even begun? Come on, bro. Hot damn Bojangles. This is what Koch brothers money buys you, by the way. The best leadership oil money can buy. Lord, baby Jesus. Let's continue. The counter-revolutionary activists backed by the U.S. Senate Department Leopoldo, I've never even heard of the name Leopoldo. Leopoldo Lopez was among the instigators of the quote-unquote final phase coup. Venezuelan Foreign Minister Jorge Arreaza, that's an interesting name, claims that the U.S. likely paid a guard to let him out of house arrest to join the coup. What a surprise. Arreaza assured that the public that this coup attempt will contain thousands of pro-Maduro protesters have taken to the streets and have surrounded the presidential palace. Okay? You hear that? Do you hear the difference? So remember in the other article, the Guardian article, it said thousands of protesters took to the streets to assist Guaido because they're against Maduro. However, according to on the ground reporting from Mint Press News, those thousands of protesters who surrounded the palace, who surrounded it's called Presidential Palace. He has to change that name. But the people who surrounded the Presidential Palace were actually all pro-Maduro protesters protecting Maduro and the current Venezuelan leadership. But the Guardian, this is, by the way, this happens often. People forget that Guaido was a minority leader. In other words, the opposite of majority. In other words, whatever opinions that he may have incepted into the public's mind were only supported by a minority of the public. So where do the logic that people have is that thousands of people would jump into the streets. Mind you, Guaido's supporters are white and rich Venezuelans. That's it. No, ain't no black, brown, mestizo Venezuelan supporting Guaido. You know, every now and then, I'm sure you have your Candace Owens of Venezuela. Okay, I'm sure you have your Ben Carsons of Venezuela, but like the majority of mestizo Venezuelans are not supporting Guaido. So his grand master plan, people, was for him to get up at 5:45, put on his white button up, put on his blazer, call all 5 of his military friends, send out a Facebook RSVP, turn his camera from widescreen to portrait, announce a military coup on YouTube, and ask a bunch of rich white Venezuelans to come out and help him overthrow Maduro. And like I said, all 4 of his supporters RSVP'd on Facebook, and they said, maybe. That's what happened. That was his grand master plan, people. That was his grand master plan. Who the hell is he trying to be the president of? The Three Stooges? Because if he's trying to be the president of the Three Stooges, well, for one, there's only 3, so I'm not even sure he qualifies. Like, that would make it a four Stooges, and that doesn't quite roll off the tongue as well as Three Stooges. But lo, baby Jesus, who the hell is this man trying to govern? He can't even govern himself. You know what he trying to do, y'all? I know what he trying to do. Listen, he's like, I'm going to make a plan so hilariously stupid that no one will ever detect my real plan. See, this is the problem with the social media era. People think, so you know how I know some of my fans are from the hood, and at least some of y'all are from backgrounds where you understand how social media beef usually starts and ends, right? People get on social media, go back and forth, and what they hope is if they win enough support on social media that like they actually won the fight, until they actually end up in the fight. Like, and they just talk back and forth on social media. They're constantly gaslighting. He don't want none of this. Then when I pull up to his or her house, when I do this, yeah, I'm announce all my plans on social media. And the one who is actually about to whoop that ass ain't saying nothing. He just liking all the posts. Keep that same energy. Okay. Word. And then they pull up to your crib. And you still on Twitter dropping videos in full screen portrait mode. And this dude is at your front door. That is basically what Guaido did. There is no strategic advantage to announcing a military coup in full screen portrait mode on YouTube at the butt crack of dawn in the morning with 5 soldiers behind you. Look, I am extremely happy that the people are speaking up. The people are stepping out. The poor people, the people of color, the marginalized, they're tired of it. They're not playing this game. The United States needs to stop because it doesn't work anymore. The only way you were able to achieve so much success with overthrowing and toppling governments in the past was because you had the ability to manufacture consent and basically go unchallenged in doing so. I'm sorry, that isn't the case anymore. And if the best you can do is Mr. White button up and blazer with 5 military friends shooting in portrait mode, telling rich white people to go out into the street and overthrow a government, yeah, good luck with that. If that's the best y'all have, if Juan Guaido is the best we can do as far as trying to install a government, the United States, we not gonna be too successful with this whole imperialism thing anymore. If that's the best we can do. And that's a great thing because we need to stop. The Overton window is shifting, ladies and gentlemen. And that window is shifting towards peace. So with that being said, people, I hope you all enjoyed this live stream segment of Mika Says Sukasa. Make sure to turn into our segments later as well. We will be live streaming tonight also, as well as posting some videos in between that. So subscribe if you have not. Like I said, we have a huge announcement at 50,000 subscribers. And more than anything else, always remember, find your balance. Peace.